won't you look at that? I said, my friend, what you looking at? I think she is something for me. Excuse me, miss, it's my first time here. Maybe you can show me out of here. I think she got something indeed. So please forgive my rudeness if I'm tripping over your time. But you look so amazing. And we can be so much more than who we are. So much more than who we are. We can. Knee deep in while the world just falls apart at the rise of.
So hey everybody, it's Mickey, and today we are in the kitchen because we all know that cooking from home is not only better for our health, but it is really easy on the budget. But to cook from home, you really need a well-stocked kitchen. I know that it can seem a little overwhelming at times, but if we take small steps, little by little, we can stock our shelves with the ingredients that we are going to need for the recipes that we want to make. So in today's video, I'm going to take you through my pantries and show you what staples that I keep on hand at all times to make cooking from home so much easier. So if you are new here, I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe. I put out new videos every week about all things home. Making a commitment to cook more at home is an easy way to save money in our budgets, but it can be difficult to know what we need in our home kitchens to create easy and affordable meals. There are definite building blocks in every recipe, so here are at least 20 different ingredients to keep in your pantry to help you get started. Our food storage room is on our lower level, right at the bottom of the stairs. We have this whole room that is pretty much dedicated to food storage and to the smaller appliances that I just can't fit up into my kitchen. I am not a big fan of open shelving. I like to have storage, but I really do like to have it behind closed doors. So we found these cabinets at Lowe's. I'll try to leave a link to them down below for you. And they were listed as garage storage, but they are really beautiful. They are well made and they can really hold a lot. So I have several sets of these cabinets in our basement that stores all kinds of things, from our food storage to holiday decor and so much more. In this smaller cabinet, as you come through the double doors there, this is where I keep some of my extra cooking items that I need, like my crock pots. I have 2 crock pots here. I have my extra little bowls that I use for, buffets during the holiday. I have my cast iron pots here and my big stock pot. And then down below, I have all of my charger plates that I use to set the table during the holidays. So this is where the bulk of my extra cooking small appliances go, but it is in these other cabinets that the majority of our food storage lives. So in this cabinet is where I hold a lot of my canned goods. I have tomato products, I have soups, I have a big bucket of pasta, and I have some baking and side ingredients down along the bottom. Now I am an Italian, so I cook a lot of Italian food, but I think that having a good supply of tomato products would be beneficial to any type of family because so many great recipes out there have a tomato base. I like to have a large supply of tomato products on hand at any given time. I use them all week long for so many different things. I like to purchase tomato sauce in these large 28-ounce size cans because this is what I use along with tomato puree to make my spaghetti sauce, my pasta sauce that I do probably like every other week now at this point. I like to have a supply of tomato paste. I only have 2 cans left, so I'm going to add that to my grocery list. I love to have fire roasted diced tomatoes. These are so awesome to toss into almost any tomato based recipe that you're using. It really gives a delicious deep flavor to stews, to your sauce, to soups. into chili, it's really great. They are so tasty. Of course, I have some Rotel here for, you know, when I make tacos or taco soup. I like the mild or the original flavor. I have several cans of this on hand all the time. I like a lot of salsa and picante sauce. I usually buy the restaurant style salsa from Walmart that you keep in the refrigerator, but I always have a couple jars of picante sauce in my food storage. I like to have crushed tomatoes of all different kinds. Crushed tomatoes are probably my favorite tomato product that I use in recipes. So I have a large 28-ounce cans of this. I also have these smaller containers of crushed tomatoes that I use to make my pizza sauce. I make pizza sauce probably every other week or so, and this is what I like to use for it. It has such a great fresh flavor. I also have some crushed tomato cans of sauce here. These are great to throw into your, you know, pot of chili, your pasta sauce and spaghetti sauce that you make. I like to use this as well if I just make meatballs. Sometimes I like to make meatball subs, and I will use the crushed tomatoes as the base for the sauce with that. Up above, I have some jarred tomato sauce. I have just really started to use this, and it's because of that TikTok recipe that I shared with you guys a couple videos back. It has become like my go-to last-minute meal, and I always like to have some jarred spaghetti sauce and some Alfredo sauce on hand in my pantry so that I can make that recipe on like a really busy night or just when I'm feeling a little bit lazy. So here I have a couple jars of Alfredo sauce. I have a couple jars of jarred spaghetti sauce. I have some ragu, some Prego. I really haven't come up with a favorite yet, so I usually go with the brand that is on sale. I also like to pick up when I see it a jar of vodka sauce, which is really good. I think the one that is my favorite I pick up at Aldi. So I have a couple of jars of sauce on hand at any given time. They are great for a quick meal. You can also use them in a pinch for pizza sauce, and they're great for any kind of recipe that calls for, you know, a tomato base. You can always use something like this and add vegetables to it, add some browned ground meat or sausage. They are so versatile and easy to create a meal from. On this shelf, I have my canned soups. I have some tuna here. Tuna is probably my favorite and one of the only canned meats that I purchase. As we get closer to the colder weather, I'll probably purchase some canned chicken, probably at Costco, and just to have it on hand. That is really good because you can extend a recipe if you have just like a little bit of leftover chicken in your refrigerator and you want to make a casserole or something. That canned chicken is really good to toss in as well. As far as soups go, I do have all of the broths. I have beef, chicken, and vegetable. If I don't make my own like chicken broth for soup, I will always use a packaged one. I also like to use that Better Than Bouillon base that pretty much stays in your refrigerator. It is so much better in my opinion than the little cubed bouillons that I think it's a great investment to have on hand to toss into stews and soups, and even like water that you're going to be boiling some rice in or pasta. It does give a great added flavor. I like to have a couple jars of gravy on hand. This is turkey gravy, but you can use it just as easily for chicken or turkey. I like to make open-faced chicken or turkey sandwiches with some leftover meat from a previous meal. You just kind of do like a Texas toast. You mix the gravy with the meat and pour it on top and heat it all the way through, and it is really delicious. Of course, you have to have a bunch of cream soups on hand. Of course, they are perfect for casseroles. You can make even like a chicken pot pie, mix it with some rice. The uses are endless. So let's talk pasta. Now, as I said, I grew up in an Italian home. Pasta is a staple to our diet and has always been for me. So at any given time, I have at least 10 pounds of pasta in the house. Right now, I probably have twice as much because I just purchased some different kinds that I needed to stock up on. So I like to keep anything that is contained in like a cardboard box or a plastic package, anything like that. I like to keep them in these kinds of bins just to keep them as fresh as possible. You know, sometimes at the change of the seasons, every now and then we will get a little mouse or two roaming around, so I like to keep everything as safe as possible. So in this big bucket, I probably have 12 pounds of pasta at least. I like to keep all the pasta in their original boxes until I take it, you know, upstairs to my kitchen, and then I like to decant it. It just makes it, you know, easier to store and easier to access for me. So in this bucket, I have a lot of rigatoni, linguine, spaghetti. I have ziti and rotini, and I think I have some elbow macaroni in there as well. My other collection of pasta is in this other cabinet here, and here I have like in there I have some wagon wheels, I have some bow tie, and in this container I have some stellina that I use for soups. I have some tortellini, and I have some egg noodles there in the back. Does the average home need this much pasta? Probably not, but you have to admit that having pasta on hand, like in case that the lights go out or something like that. I have a gas stove. I can still use my range top, so I could make spaghetti at any time. This is just something that is really simple to put a meal together no matter what's going on. So, and I like the idea of having a reserve in case I just don't feel good and I still have to put dinner together, or if somebody is sick and I want to make a quick pot of soup, I have everything that I need, you know, right here in these two cabinets. As far as baking is concerned, I have 3 bins here that contain a bunch of different ingredients that you need to, you know, just do your general baking. I have cake mixes, I have oatmeal, I have powdered sugar, and chocolate chips, all the extras that I would need on hand if I was doing a bunch of baking. I usually replenish this around the beginning of the holidays because that's when I do the majority of my baking, and I like to make sure that everything is used up. If I find something on sale that I know I'm going to be needing in the, you know, in the months ahead, I will buy a bunch of it, stick it in one of these bins, and use it as I need it. As far as side dishes go, I usually like to make most things from scratch, but there are times when having something that you can just whip together for a really quick dinner comes in super handy. So in this bin, I have a lot of rice products. So I always like to have a couple rice-a-ronis on hand in whatever flavors, you know, that I think I'm going to use. Like I have a long grain here. I have a couple chicken ones here. These are great for really quick dinners. They mix really well. If you have like a little bit of chicken or pork or beef left over, you can make, you know, just kind of like a faux stir fry with them. I also like to have the pasta-ronis that have like a sauce and some shells. I also, in here, I have extra rice. I have my regular long grain rice, and I also have arborio rice, which you use to make risotto. And I think back here I have a box of stuffing mix. This is a great ingredient to have on hand because there's a recipe, I think it's called Crock Pot Thanksgiving chicken, I think it's called, and you mix it all up with some really good ingredients and it tastes just like your Thanksgiving turkey. So it's good to have a bunch of these kinds of things on hand for quick meals and, you know, just when you're in the mood for something different. One of the other things that I always have a big supply of in my pantry is canned veggies. So of course fresh is best, then frozen vegetables, but there is something really good about having a supply of canned veggies in your pantry. Our favorite is the Del Monte cut green beans. We eat these all the time, but I really do like having, you know, some sweet peas. I like having some peas and carrots. Sliced beets cold is one of my favorite canned veggies as well. And I also like to have some sliced water chestnuts on hand. These are really great to add to any casserole that you make. It adds a little bit of crunch, which is really good, and it's just like, you know, something different. You can also add them into any salad, like a pasta salad or a green salad. So I really do like having a good supply of canned veggies on hand. So we're gonna pop over to our other cabinet here for one of my other staples that I always have on hand, and that is beans. I have a bunch of different types here that I use for different kinds of recipes. They are a great recipe extender. They help to make almost any dish a little bit heartier, a great source of protein and vitamins, and they're just plain good to have on hand. So I like to have some cannellini beans. I have some garbanzo beans or some chickpeas. I always have a good supply of red kidney beans. I make chili all year long, and I like to make also bean burritos, which I use pretty much whatever beans I have on hand. I also have a bunch of black beans back there. I have some refried beans here and also some baked beans. As you can see to the side here, I have a ridiculous amount of Lipton onion soup mix. I thought I was ordering just 2 packets of onion soup mix, and it turned out I ordered 2 cases of onion soup mix. So if you guys have any recipes that I could utilize this, please let me know. Put it in the comments section down below, because I'm afraid it's one of those things that I'm going to have for years and years in my pantry and end up throwing away. So that is the bulk of the staples that I always have in my pantry at any given time. Of course, there are a bunch of other things that I like to have on hand that I would have maybe like 1 or 2 backups of. I always have a couple extra oatmeals or granola. I always have a couple gallons of water in my pantry. There's also a bunch of different oils and vinegars. I have the important staples of life, which is basically Hershey syrup and pickles. And I have a bunch of different, like, you know, ranch dressing and different marinades and things like that. And of course I have my collection of bulk spices that I keep down here and that I just like to refill as I need it for my jars up in the kitchen. I think the most important thing to keep in mind when you have any type of food storage, whether it be a large amount of food or a small amount of food, is to develop a system for yourself where you are sure to utilize all the food that you have in storage. Because, you know, it is an investment. This is grocery money set aside to purchase backup supplies and extras that, you know, if we don't use them, it is money and food wasted. So the most important thing is to come up with a system that you know that you are going to stick to rotate the food that you have and to use what you have on hand, because if you don't use it, it's just a waste of money. So what I have done is I have a pantry list up here on my door that I fill out like every quarter, and I like to just have like a running total of, you know, just what I have on hand at any given time. Sometimes I don't have everything, sometimes I have to add more. It's not always accurate, but what it does do is it gets me to go into my pantries to look at what I have and make either a mental note or an actual note of what I have and what I have to use. And it's also a good time to pull things to say, hey, you got to make this week, or otherwise it's going to go bad. I will go ahead and leave a link to my pantry list printable in the description box down below for you if you want to print it out for yourself and see if it helps you keep track of your food storage. So I hope this video gave you some ideas on the types of ingredients to stock up on in your pantries. I'm sure you can add your own favorites to this list. Go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. I would love to see what you guys stock up on. I plan on doing a couple more videos in this kitchen series, so be on the lookout for those videos coming your way really soon. Join our communities over on Facebook and Instagram at My Bashful Life, and don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you all back as part of our YouTube family. So until I see you in that next video, I hope that you love the life that you have. Be kind to each other, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!